Today's keynote is going to be Belinda. She's going to walk us through her path in construction, a career path in construction. But I know there's lots of new people in here, so it'd be nice for everybody to just do an intro. And if there is, if you've got an ask, or if you've achieved something great, if there's something specific you want to talk about, or something specific that you need, then now would be the time. Any connections you're looking for, people individually or businesses, then let us know. I'm just going to come round to everybody you are seeing first. So Sandy, you're first on my screen. We didn't do an intro, we jumped straight into it. Do you want to give us an intro?
Right, conscious of dominating for the first 5 minutes. Sandy Rees-Jones, compulsive builder, been in the construction industry for years, ran my own business, marketing and management, contract management and publishing. Just stepped down from being president of the Chartered Institute of Building, which was absolutely brilliant. And totally committed to design, build and watch what people are doing in this group. And isn't it fantastic to see so many women? You know, 20 years ago, we wouldn't have had a lineup that we're looking at in this virtual room. And there are women at the top, and we need more women at the top, especially the state of the world, because they're not very, I worry about what's going on. So keep on in there, ladies. Be good and change the industry. I'll shut up now. Looking forward to hearing everybody.
Thank you, Sandy. Claire Parkinson. You're on mute.
Morning, everybody. Apologies. How's everybody? I hope you're all okay. Claire Parkinson. I've recently started with a new company, HRL Building Services, and I'm operations manager. So I'm currently in the new office with the lovely Tracy, and she's just made me a cup of tea, and I'm learning the ropes and learning everything, and the boss man's on holiday, so it's my fire. I'm going to be into the fire pan. It's a frying pan. God, I can't talk to this morning. So yeah, I'm listening to Belinda. I do apologise. I probably will put everything on mute, but I will be listening to you, Belinda. No
Thanks,
swearing.
Claire.
All right.
No, yes. Oh, I can't say nothing. Swear if you want. Gemma Lancaster, hi, nice to see you again. It's been a minute.
Hello, hi everybody, nice to see you. Yeah, I took one of these things called a mental health break, and it was great.
Oh,
it was
good.
Something
Good
that
for
none
you.
of us ever do. So yeah, I had a few months out. I lost my mum, my dad got really ill, and I was like, I just need to switch off for a minute and reset. So that's where I am now. I work at Travis Perkins as a recruiter, but also for CCF, Keyline, tool stations, aircraft, all those. My career history is more on the manual side. So I started off as a forklift truck driver, manual labourer for 7 years, got into diggers and dumpers and stuff like that. And now I'm here hopefully to try and encourage more women to get into our sector. Yeah, that's me.
Oh. Thanks, Gemma. I'm sorry to hear about your mum as well. And it's good that you've taken time for yourself. It's much needed. I experienced something at the start of the year and I just completely shut down from the world and was really happy doing so as well. I was like, people judge stay-at-home mums, but I really wish my partner was rich enough that I could do that. Or I just didn't really fancy things, because it was really, really nice to do nothing for several months and have no either. So yeah, good for you, and good for you for talking about it as well. Hopefully other people will do the same thing when it's needed.
Yeah.
Thanks, Gemma. Karina at Blue Iris. Hello.
Good morning, ladies. I actually wasn't invited to your event, but my boss, Beth Revel, was invited and was unable to make it, and told me that she thought it was something I would really appreciate hearing and listening to. So I just thought I would come along and just see what it was you were all talking about.
Yeah, well, it's we're an open forum, Karina, so everybody's invited. You don't need a formal invite. You're welcome whenever. We do it every month. Feel free to come along and meet everybody.
All right. Fantastic.
Thanks, Karina. Catherine, how are you? Have you been stuck up any cliffs lately? Catherine, why are you so still? What?
Is it me? Oh, hi.
Listen, you're on a 60-second curfew with this one because we have to get to the keynote as well.
Yeah.
So say what you need to say in and out.
Okay, so I'm in Polish Kasia. I represent Prevail Accountancy. We're not just accountants. Recently, I've been appointed as fractional CFO for a construction company. And we are a team of 5 women, award-winning. So a good news, like you said, to shout something loud. We got second year in the row, Sole Practitioner of the Year by Accounting Excellence, the most prestigious award in the country. So I'm proud to say that we are one of the best management, accounting, construction company. So we support our especially main contractors, principal contractors with tracking all the projects on time, real time, and streamline the processes. Yesterday, I went to a network meeting and I asked one question to the contractor. Which of your accountants prepared for you a calculator of an impact of increased employer national insurance for labor cost for all of your employees for the financial year 25-26? And everyone said none. Well, I have prepared the calculator that I can share with everyone if you're interested. I have calculated individual for every single customer the impact for the following year. And that means we are, I think, one of the most proactive management. We specialize in construction sector. I've been in construction sector for 19 years. So if I have to squeeze everything in 60 seconds, it's impossible. It's longer like life.
You have to, Catherine. We're going to just have to get you on as a keynote because you cannot just hog the whole thing. Everybody needs to do an intro. Belinda has to speak.
Okay,
No,
so
go on, you're grand, go.
thank you.
Catherine, put a link to your calculator or a link for how people can get in touch with you in the chat as well, because it does sound interesting stuff.
Yeah, I'll put the link to calculator, but regards this impact of national insurance, it's an Excel spreadsheet. So I can also add it as document in the chat box, so everyone can have it and see. It's an impact from when you pay wages between 10 and 20 pounds per hour. You can change the hourly wage. It shows 24, 25, 25, 26 effect per hour. And you really then stand your ground if you have these calculations, because it's not as bad as BBC made it. It's not as bad.
We'll put it in the chat, Catherine, and then maybe your contact details as well in case anybody wants to reach out to you.
Okay.
Thanks, Catherine.
Thank
Done. That was fast. That was really fast for you. Okay. Hi, Nikki.
Hello everyone, how are you doing? I'm Nikki Thackeray, I'm the director. Belinda, I can't wait to hear your keynote. Director of the Power Within Her, which is part of the Power Within training and development company. So I do recognise some faces. So hello everybody. Women's coach and trainer specialising in leadership and management coaching. So thank you for having me.
Nikki. And new grandma as well. Nikki, congratulations.
Yes. It's been such an amazing week. So my gorgeous daughter, she's just turned 20, and I got a phone call on Monday night. She was in labour, and the baby came safe and sound Tuesday morning, and she's perfect, absolutely perfect.
Congratulations.
Floating around on cloud 9.
Oh, congratulations, Nikki. Christina, hello. Do you want to do an intro?
Hi everyone. I actually not sure how I stumbled around this group, but I'm very excited to be here, like seeing so many amazing female business owner. So I'm a structural engineer. I actually run a structural engineer consultancy service myself called Matter, and then this it has been running for over 5 years now. And then I'm now in the process of trying to grow the company with the staff, and I'm also looking to be have more collaboration, to be in the supply chain, to be either with the bigger buyers like contractors or architects. So just looking to make a bigger impact. Yeah.
And thanks, Christina, and nice to have you. I think most people don't know they stumbled upon us. It's normally because I'm just shouting some nonsense on social media somewhere. Maybe it's that. Hello, Claire Clayton. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Morning all. I'm Claire Clayton. I'm HR director for a company called Bourne Group Limited. We're a steel construction company doing all sorts of different things for being a main contractor in terms of car parking or a subcontractor for steel supply. So been here for 8 years. Nice to see you all. That's me done.
Claire, nice to see you. Rachel Ashdown, hello.
Hello. So I'm Rachel. I think similarly to a few others, I've just stumbled on this meeting by accident. But one thing that I do, I'm a sales manager for Keepmoat Homes. Each year, I always put someone forward for the Women in Construction Awards. I'm really passionate about making sure that you know everyone is treated and recognised as they should be. So yeah, really glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks, Rachel. Yeah, and please do keep doing that as well. We've not opened the nominations for next year yet. I'm trying to get a different platform, so I'm hoping to have sorted it by December. So we'll open the nomination process again. But we do find that 90% of our nominations are coming from other people, not from women themselves. So it is really important if you know women, or obviously men for the male ally category as well, because none of them have ever put themselves forward, not one. Then yeah, it's really important to do that, or else there'd be no awards, there'd be no nominations, there'd be nobody to celebrate. So if you do know anybody who's great, then please do it when the nominations open again. Janine Reid, hello. Is it Janine?
Hello. You have said it right. Most people call me Jeannie because obviously they don't know how to say. But yeah, so thank you. You have said it right. So I'm from NOCN, an awarding organisation. So obviously, again, stumbled upon this meeting because I think someone in our marketing team found it. So then I've come on it. So we work with obviously centres and employers looking at qualifications within the construction industry. And I think we have sponsored as well some of the awards. So yes, excited to listen to obviously what you've all got to say.
Yeah, bro, thanks, Janine. Yeah, you was one of our main sponsors last year, the NRCN. So welcome. You're more than welcome. You paid it for it, so you may as well be here every month. You're technically paying for this still. Little do they not. Natasha, hello. It looks like you're sitting down. I don't think I've ever seen you sitting down before. This is unusual.
Good morning. Morning, everyone. All the new faces, nice to see. I'm Natasha. So I run a cleaning company, a small cleaning company, predominantly working in construction. So we work on site, and I was a Team GB athlete. So I used to be a boxer, and I've been a part of this group for over a year now, and I just love it. So good morning, everyone who's new, and good morning, everyone who's usually on it every month.
Thanks, Natasha. Good to see you. And
You too.
I think is it Natasha McIntyre? Is it Natasha? Natasha McIntyre Hall? I think you're on mute though. If you don't want to speak. Can't speak. Okay, no worries. Well, if you want to say anything about yourself, you can always put it in the chat. If it's not convenient to talk, then feel free to add it to the chat. Apologies for putting you on the spot then. Deepa, welcome. Hello.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Deepa Mystery. I'm a resident campaigner. I was caught up in the aftermath of the cladding crisis, and so from then I've been doing a lot of work about the resident input into remediation and our experiences. But it's really good to hear from you, Sandy, today. I hope you feel better. I do wish you a speedy recovery, and Belinda, looking forward to hearing from you as well. I dip in and out of this group every now and then because my background is actually, like Kasia, I'm an accountant, and I am the CFO for a charity that looks after those affected by modern slavery. Obviously, there's a lot of modern slavery in many of the bigger sectors nowadays. So, there is a lot of work for us to do. And that's me.
Oh, thank you, Deepa. Nice to see you again. Yeah, and feel free, just pop in and out whenever you're free. There's
Thank
no
you.
pressure. It's yeah, nice to see you though. Belinda, hello, welcome to the main event. Here she is, our fellow Irish friend. And Belinda does love a chat as well.
I have actually done some slides for this, honestly just photos, so that I can keep probably 5 minutes to each slide, and because otherwise I'll definitely go off on a tangent, 100%. I'm just going
No
to
worries.
them if you let me know when you can see them.
Says you're
Oh.
sharing your screen, but it's just still blank at the minute.
Yep. Be handy now if it was on the right screen. I'm making a mess now, and I was trying to make this really easy for myself.
It's on. We can see
it.
the I can see the slides.
Grand. Okay.
And sorry, can I just add? I forgot to say. So everybody else who's in the group, if you want to connect with each other, then if you add your LinkedIn profile in the chat as well, then you can all obviously connect with each other as well. Just side note. Sorry, Belinda, take it away.
Oh, you're grand. You're grand. I'm like hanging back, letting everyone else talk here. But no, good morning, everyone. Hello, and thank you for jumping in today. So I'm Belinda. I'm the founder and director of the Belinda Grace Group Limited, and I'll tell you what that means now in a minute. But so I'm from Ireland, if you haven't guessed already. So I've been working in the construction industry for 18 years between property and construction. So I'll give you a little background of what that experience is. I'm a RICS Inspire ambassador, so today I'm off to Liverpool College at 2 o'clock to give a speech to the students over there. So I'll be part of the RICS and just giving a talk on the route to qualifications and things like that. I go out to different schools, so like assemblies I've got next week, I've got a careers fair next month, so I give my time to volunteer to bring others into the industry and just tell them what I do and the different routes to qualification, not necessarily to follow the way I've gone. I'm also a level 7 research project candidate, so at the moment I'm investigating, doing research into procurement strategies and how they can help cost optimization for house builders and ultimately saving costs, mitigating project delays and overall delivery of projects. And then next year, then I suppose in April, I'm hoping to sit my APC and become a fully chartered QS. And then once I've finished that, then I'm hoping I will start the RICS diploma in arbitration. So when I retire myself before 40, my idea is to still have something to do, and being an arbitrator is how I see filling my time once I'm successful with everything else I'm about to say. But so the Belinda Grace Group is an idea I came up with about 2 years ago, and again you'll see with my experience and I've come full circle, I suppose, in what it is that I'm doing. So it's a group which will be eventually 5 companies. So the 2 I'm focused on now predominantly, I've started Belinda Grace Consulting. So we're a RICS regulated firm. So I've got project managers and quantity surveyors, and we do then bespoke services for property developers, contractors, private clients, really any construction related company that would benefit from procurement and tendering services, your usual contract administration, and any claims and delays and disputes and things like that. So Belinda Grace Living, then so I have a team that are focused now in North Wales at the moment. So I studied my law degree in North Wales, and I'd come from Australia and I could not find somewhere decent to live. And I just thought the attitude towards the students was just shocking. So I really kind of just want to start there and give back and just really rejuvenate the property there and give the students and international students somewhere decent to live, really. And I'm focused on at the moment providing all female properties, full security and serviced for international students and women that wouldn't be otherwise allowed to come to the UK and study. you know, not having the confidence that they're in a female-only building. So that's something that I'm providing at the moment as well. And then we will have an office set up there now very soon, and we'll be taking on other properties in terms of property management. And then that's where Belinda Grace Cleans comes in as well. So I'll have my own team servicing all the properties down there, and anyone else who wants to take on our services. Belinda Grace Homes is the reason why I'm doing all of this. I really just want to build my own luxury homes. I want to do it in Ireland, I want to do it in Sydney, I want to do it in the UK, and I want to do it in Portugal. So people think I'm a little crazy, but that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm working towards. And then the last company, then we'll have Belinda Grace Estates, which will be an estate agent. So whether it's I'm selling my own properties, or if we have a client that we're building a new house for and they're looking to sell their own property, I'm really just looking to be a one-stop property shop, really, in that kind of sense. So how did I get here? So I actually showed this to somebody yesterday. I was in the office and somebody said, God, Kilkenny is so far away from Dublin, but if you see Ireland against the UK, it's actually quite small. So this is about an hour and a half's drive from Dublin. I won't go too into detail in terms of how I started, because I might be then actually promoting child labour at some point, but this is where I started in working, basically 12 years old. I wanted to get out to cleaning the house at the weekends, which I was slaved into doing every morning before going to school. So, I mean, it was still work, but it was a different property to clean. So just to give you a bit of context, this is the sideline here at the gate. So none of this was here at that point when I was 12 years old. I started doing the bedrooms, I went into serving the breakfast, and then I went into behind the bar, and then in behind the reception. And that's where well, I won't say that's where the phone voice has come from, where I think I spoke to some of you at the UK Construction Week. My mother kind of just making sure that, you know, we were able to answer the phone, not in my thick Kilkenny accent, but obviously working in the businesses and answering the phones from international customers, I had to have a way of making sure they could understand me, basically. And just for a bit of more context, I suppose, on this building, you can no longer see these trees. There's another 40 bedrooms gone in there. My mother's just finished designing them. She's an interior designer. My dad's a barrister, but he's a property developer as well, obviously enough. We've got commercial, residential properties, pubs, nightclub, and things like that. So there's always ongoing construction, really. And this one I've picked here is the first major job I had as a commercial and legal assistant. So this was in 2006. This is a pub we owned here. Now, it was literally the dingiest pub in town in terms of clientele and things like that. Great crack though, but in 2016, 2018, we had a 6 million project, and it is now a 3-story nightclub, which comes all the way back here, as you can see, and there's about 30 bedrooms on there. So myself and my brother were the legal and commercial assistants, and my older sister was actually the project manager of the build. So I suppose that's where I got my first taste of the commercial side of things. I was always really involved in the legal side of things. We did all of our own in-house legal in terms of my dad. My brother's a qualified solicitor now as well. And I suppose that's where I eventually went myself. But that's my background, I suppose. There's some projects. The next thing I did then was move out to Australia. So I was 20 years old, didn't have a clue. I mean, growing up in Kilkenny, my parents split up when I was about 12, 13. I hung around with the wrong people. I was getting arrested all the time, drinking, taking drugs, just not having a clue what I wanted to do, or felt like I had a need actually to have a job, because I was lucky enough, I always had one. So it was never something I had to go looking for. Until I decided, myself and my friend, we went to Australia anyway, met up with another friend, and at the timing of when we got there, our other friend had to go and do what was called her regional work to get her second year visa. So he said, right, come on, we won't let her go on her own. We'll go with her. So we ended up going up to the Northern Territory, up to Darwin. And it didn't really work out actually for a week or two. And at one point we were all going our separate ways, and it was like, I'm not bringing home for money, you know, it's like a bit stressful. But we met this guy anyway, and he had his traffic control company. And he says, come on, we'll take you on. He was giving us advances and, you know, kind of like really sorted us out. So it was fantastic. But we went all over the Northern Territory. We were actually given, you know, he had a camper van, and we'd go off for a couple of days, and we'd go all over and spend time in watering holes and small short jobs, but just kind of going off as a team and enjoying everything around. So you can see here we had pulled up in our camper van, but washing the dishes was done externally at that point. You can see the hairband was a favourite here as well. So after a couple of, about 2 months, I think, of working in Darwin, I was asked to go out to an offshore island called Groot Island. And again, it was for traffic control management. So I was in the office predominantly. I wasn't really out in the streets in Darwin around town. So I went out anyway. It was 3 weeks on, 1 week off, what I was told. And now the pay was a couple of grand a week, but we were first in and last off site in terms of what our job was. So it was a 50 kilometre road being built so that certain communities of Aboriginal communities were able to get into where the airport is and where the doctors is. There could be landslides and torrential rain. They've got a wet season and a dry season. And sometimes it could take them a day just to get to town. So they were building a 50 kilometre road. I actually was approached by the client at one point to train in 16 Aboriginals who could barely just about speak English, never had a job in their lives. It was absolutely great crack. Now they dropped like wildflies every day, but it was such a great experience, you know, just to kind of bring them on board with us and things like that. Where have I got to now? I had a great time in Australia. I actually did some operational stuff on the cotton farming as well. When I realised I was actually going to head home. So when I was on this island, I decided one day, no, you're out there in 40-degree heat, full PPE. There was no shorts like there was here. You know, you had to be fully covered because of the sun and things like that. And I just sat there one day and I just sighed to myself on the side of the road. I was like, right, fuck this. If I have to work Monday to Friday, I may as well be doing a job now. Yeah, I'm getting the most. So I decided there and then I'm going to do a law degree. So went off to do my cotton farming just to save up. I saved up about 30 grand actually before I left. Spent a lot of it on the way home, Thailand and things like that. But just a quick slide in here, while I wasn't dressed in the dirt and my hairband, these were the types of activities I was doing on my time off. So skydiving, scuba diving, the Great Barrier Reef, chilling out on the islands on your RDO. So it was fantastic, fantastic experience. Fast forward, so I moved to Wales actually to do my law degree in Bangor University. It was 5 years to do it in the University of New South Wales. So I decided to come back. So I graduated at that point and I decided to come to London to qualify as a solicitor. So I started my legal practice course. And while I was studying my legal practice course, I did manage to land a job in a top tier law firm in the city. And I remember one thing I asked my brother, you know, what was his advice? And the main thing that one thing he said to me, and it sticks with me to this day, and what I tell any assistant that I'm training in is, do not sit there and waste time if you don't know, ask. And it's something I've always done because one, you should never be afraid to ask. And I think it'd be, I don't know, you'd feel 10 times worse sitting there like, I don't know. And then what if someone comes and be like, why didn't you ask? Like, why you been sitting there doing nothing? So it's something that I always tell my assistants now if I'm training, if you don't know something, don't sit there, just come and ask me. And so that's what I did. But what I say is I realised I was sitting there and a paralegal come up to me and he was like, oh, no chance getting a training contract here. They only give training contracts to students who've studied at Oxford. And I was like, oh, okay. And I thought it was quite strange because the first thing that actually came to my mind was I was like, so everyone thinks the same then. anyway, I quickly realized it was not for me. Not that I didn't fit in there, I didn't want to fit in there. So I just decided at that point, right, I'm out. So I'd gotten a call from a friend of mine, a firm she was a friend of. They were looking for a legal consultant for a highly complex commercial litigation. It ended up going on for 10 months. It was 720 million worth of a claim. There was high net worth investors and celebrities had all been defrauded. So I jumped on that anyway. I was working away on that for most of the year. And again, I was working for myself at the time, so it was a bit stressful. And I had an opportunity come up to join a global construction company and to join them as a legal consultant. And they had their own firm regulated by the SRA. So I would have been able to qualify within the firm. So absolutely, I was gone. I jumped. So that was fantastic. So I was working away anyway, say, for example, the last legal project, it was a £15 million claim for delays. And I got a phone call to say, look, Belinda, they've settled up top, we're going to pull you off. And I said, grand. So then they started telling me about the next job that they had for me. So now I couldn't really hear them, didn't really mind. I was like, yeah, that's fine. So anyway, I rocked on down there a couple of weeks later and I says to them, what's the problem? And he said to me, he's kind of like, oh, I was like, well, why am I here? Like, what's the claim? And he goes, oh, he says, quantity surveyor. And I swear to God, I looked at him and I says to him, I said, what the fuck is a quantity surveyor? Anyway, so I kind of said nothing. I said, right, come on then. Let me see what it is that you want me to do. Now, I understand probably at the sense of my employer at the time wanted me to be in a position where I could assess the applications and things that come in based off the claim. So any of the backup for the claim. So, I mean, I would have just preferred if they told me that that was what I was going there to do. But I loved it. I really enjoyed it. I was assisting a senior QS on 65 million worth of the design packages. And eventually I did actually kick up because it got to a point where the position that I was in, I wasn't going to learn anymore, if that makes sense, the role that I was there for. So I just said, no, that's it, I'm out. So they brought in another apprentice, and while I was training him in, I thought, Jesus, wow, I actually do know all this. And I just realised, I suppose at the time, it's legal and commercial, and I suppose I love the fast pace of it. I'm a bit of a frequent numbers as well, so I was enjoying the formulas and things, and yeah, whole new world. But as I was leaving there, I suppose I got an email. I used to go into the exec office basically and cause all sorts of debates, just changes in scope and different interpretations of clauses and things like that. So I was actually I was being watched, I suppose, in a sense that I got an email one day. A guy who was consulted into London Underground had reached out to me and said, look, if you're looking for a job, like, come this way. So I was like, oh yeah, thanks but no thanks, Fast forward then again, and I did actually go and meet him, and he says to me, he said, because I had gone back to my other company, I'd gone in-house, and I was they were taking the piss. I was out 2 days a week commercially. I was in 3 days legally, and I was just kind of getting crap legal work and things like that because I wasn't always around. So I just didn't think, I thought for the amount of work and effort that I was putting in, I just was not being treated properly at all. So at that point I was like, right, I don't care about your training contract, I'm off, kind of thing. So I gave those other guys a shout, and sure, look, he goes to me, he goes, oh, he says, we've got a commercial manager position that we want you to take over. And I was like, commercial manager? I was like, what? I was like, my background's legal, so anyway, long story short, off I went. I got handed a portfolio of 1.5 billion worth of projects in a development portfolio, and I started doing my master's in quantity surveying, because at that point I decided if I was going to be a QS, I needed to be a chartered QS. If not, it was like being a paralegal and not wanting to be a solicitor. So off I went. Loved my time. You can see here I was part of the mental health workshops. I assisted the occupational health manager. I was actually diagnosed with anxiety, depression and PTSD in 2005. Don't take any medication, don't see people. I've got great friends. It doesn't change who I am, it just changes the way I think, I guess. Over bloody thinking on the smallest, slightest of things. But in terms of my confidence, like it hasn't changed anything like that. So I am able to go out there and do these things and, you know, speak about my own experiences. And I know I helped one person through these courses and days. So, I mean, that's good enough, really, I suppose. I also then was part of the RICS Matrix Committee once I said, right, I'm a QS now. So that was fantastic. So I've been doing the RICS presentations and events for schools and colleges now for a while. So it's something I really enjoy, and to be able to give people, you know, my own background and answer any questions that they may have in terms of progressing. I've also been a Women Construction Ambassador for London Build as well. So yeah, always, I suppose, trying to put myself out there and just kind of give people a bit of an insight. I don't know where I am on time. I'm going to try and hurry up now anyway. So what I will say, I suppose, I was working away in London and COVID came. A lot of our businesses shut down at home, obviously, hospitality and things like that. And my dad wasn't actually very well. So I decided to move home, left my fabulous life in London. This is actually the view from my house. And I just said, right, okay, you know, I need to do what's best to help my family. I've got 4 younger sisters, and, you know, my parents have worked their ass off all those years to have what we have. So it was kind of like, right, you know, that's the best thing for me to do. So that's what I did. Long story short, I got bored because it's something I've been doing since I was 16. It wasn't really a challenge. Now, as a 40 million portfolio, I think the most challenging thing was working with my dad, who didn't want to work with me. But anyway, glad he didn't, because I decided I went off. I was in Australia, I was in New Zealand, I didn't know what I was doing. And I was on my way back. I had a 2-hour stopover in London. I ended up staying there 2 months. And that is when and where I got my vision for the Belinda Grace Group. So I suppose I just kind of started working towards that, like from that very, very night. I made a list on my phone. It all went to paper. I started telling everybody. So I was at home, actually. I was at home, and I rang my dad and I was like, look, I'm going to go out to Portugal. I'm going to go out to the house. I'll be there probably about 2 weeks. I'm going to make my plan now. That's it. I'm moving to Liverpool. Puts me in the middle of everywhere I want to buy and build. Yeah, I'm going ahead with my plans. So Belinda's out there, hungover New Year's Day with my dad and my friend in the pub, and bumped into some people, be chatting in the beer garden, as you do. Long story short, that man eventually came back to me and asked me to meet him for a coffee, which I did. And I was no longer finished my espresso, and he had offered me the opportunity to work on projects like this. And I swear to God, I'd say that man never got a yes. So quick in his life. I never even let him finish the sentence. That's it. I was moving country in the space of a second. So I did obviously ring my dad back and be like, actually, I'm staying. So I'll just show you a couple of different projects that I was working on. So I got paired with a senior project manager who had the same international experience as I did. So that was great. We understood the assignment. So he had 5 or 6 villas that he was working on. So I took over the commercial management of those 5 villas. So then he could oversee me working as a project manager to demolish the existing villa that was here and to build this one. So this is just some construction pictures along the way. This is the property that's finally completed. This is the smallest one I worked on. This house as well, it's one of my favourite. This little window here is actually a window that's here in this pool. So, I mean, these houses cost about 6 million euros to build. They go on the market for anywhere from 20 to 25 million. So you could see I literally got up and I ran to work every day. Like, I was absolutely buzzing. Really enjoyed my time there. But long story short, and why everyone's asking me what I'm doing here now back in the UK, international standards, my professional development, and just all around respect, really, was what made me kind of just come to a halt there. But that's what I want to do now myself, if that makes sense. My mother is an interior designer for these types of properties, so she's actually she's my secret weapon as I go going forward. But yes, this is my vision, really. These types of properties. So, yeah, I suppose I was asked what would be the 3 things to take from today. And for me, it's definitely number 1 is it's never too late. Like, you can stop change your career, lifestyle, country that you live in anytime you want. It doesn't matter what age you are. The construction industry, for me, transferable skills that have taken me all over the world. And the third one then, I mean, my mother thinks my accent's getting stronger. Haven't changed myself. Just be yourself. And yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks, Belinda. That was a crash course walk through your life, and I do feel like with most people in construction, though, it's never. I mean, I wasn't like 6 years old and thought, do you know what? I really want to have a construction magazine when I'm older. I don't think it's most people's desire to.
Yeah, I kind of like felt that way. I'd gone that way, and I'd kind of felt that way. Obviously, it was something that was always there, and like for me, like, you know, I grew up with the boys, like it's just the way it is, you know, and I've never really faced, there was only one time that I actually faced adversity really, and it was, I had a monthly, you know, your program meetings or whatever, and you know, again, I was the person with the hundreds of millions next to my name, but the man in person, man in question kept turning to my assistant and asking him things, and like my poor assistant hadn't a clue, you know, and we were kind of like looking over, and it was kind of like, wait now. So I looked at him and I said, sorry, I said, this is my meeting. I said, when you're ready to address me, I said, this meeting will adjourn. I said, no, good luck and thanks. And I got up. I said, come on, we're going. You know, so it's kind of like, I haven't, even though I've kind of, you know, grown up with that and I've been instilled, I can do what I want and, you know, anything's possible kind of thing. I did actually grow up in a house where there was 5 girls, 1 boy, and the boy was treated completely different than the girls, you know. But other than that, like, yeah, people don't come at me and you know, I think they know not to kind of take the piss really, but I'm quite confident as a person and just being myself, whereas like if I'm at work, like absolutely, like, you know, I've worked hard, I've studied, I know what I'm talking about, so I don't take disrespect. And if you do disrespect me, I'll probably make you feel that small in about 2 seconds and you'll just walk away.
Yeah, but I think that's important. Like with the education creates confidence as well. Like knowing that you do know your job inside out. And the same as you, nobody's ever been shouting obscenities to me on a construction site or have been overtly out there rude. But I just get ignored. I just literally, I'm an invisible human when you walk onto a construction site. So I think I've said it before, and I literally introduced myself as the managing director now, and it feels like such an uncomfortable move, but it just sets the tone then. So then for the rest of the conversations, you know, you're going to be
even in Portugal, say, so like I used to walk onto the site, so when I was the project manager in Portugal, and now we moved to Portugal in the 90s. I should have more Portuguese than my coffee order and my VAT number. But anyway, I'd walk onto site and like they're so laid back there, they're 20 years behind, you know, but the lack of PPE. And I would literally walk onto site and I'd be like, hey, you know, and you'd see them all coming up out of the basement, put their hard hats on and walk back down. I'd just be like, do you know, I don't take shit like that at all. And I suppose for me and what I'd actually get across in terms of me presenting on my route to qualifications is that it's not all about education. I actually became an associate of the RICS before I managed to finish the master's in quantity surveying. So I know I learn much better practically and I learn on the job, and I'm not afraid to ask people around me if I'm unsure. And I think it's the best way to learn, to be thrown in the deep end on site, ask the project managers, ask the engineers. You know, I think it's a sign of strength to actually ask for help, is to know that you need it and then have the courage to ask. But I think
it just makes everything go faster. I'd rather somebody ask me.
yeah,
If they don't know what they're doing, just ask them.
Yeah,
instead of making all the mistakes going through the process, or if I didn't really understand it, just ask me and I'll tell you. You much prefer that. I want to open it up, Belinda.
Someone that is more experienced, they'd rather you asked, you know, and then it's kind of proactive, and you know, it's not a bad sign. Yeah.
I just want to see, Belinda, if anybody's got any questions for you or anything else to add to the conversation as well. And thanks for going through it with us. So I don't know if anybody's got any questions, if you want to unmute or just wave or something. Give me a clear sign. Hi, Natasha.
Hi, I just want to say hi, Belinda. I don't know if I've met you actually at the Women in Construction Awards. Was you there this year?
I met you in Birmingham.
What was Birmingham? Remind me.
The UK Construction Week.
Oh, did I recognised your face, but I didn't know all of this. And it's really inspiring, actually, because I am like you. I'm like, I think I want to do everything. Every idea that comes into my head, I want to do it. And then a week later, I change my mind. And then I always find if it comes, sorry, my washer's on. Let me pause it. I always find if, it's doing my head in, I always find if it comes back to me, then I'm going to give it a go, if that makes sense. So I get loads of ideas. I'm ADHD. I get loads of ideas coming to my head. And some of them I just don't entertain. Some of them I'm like, yeah, I'm going to actually be a lawyer next week. And then I'm like, it goes out my head and then something else comes in. And actually I reached out to somebody in a different group and they've got they did law, and I'm actually interested in law in property. I wouldn't have a clue how to get into it, but I want to.
Send me a message and I can give you any information you need.
Yeah, I want to just explore it. I don't know if I'm definitely going to get into it, but I would like to know a little bit more information. And it seems as though you've done so many things.
Like my brother, he has been he made partner of his law firm about 30 years of age. But I'm probably the only person who knows that he's worked for that every single day since he was about 10 years old. He's just been so like tunnel vision.
Yeah.
Off doing whatever, getting all in trouble, not having a clue, and when back, and I was like,
that was me.
Oh,
that was me.
I
Beating
come
up
back
men.
and I'm going to do what you do, and I'd say he was like, what the fuck, like, and I did.
Yeah.
But like that's something you can have that tunnel vision, you can be, do so well, but like it's okay not to do either, like,
Yeah. And you can change your life around, and it seems like you've done so many things and achieved so much, and it's really literally so inspirational, because I think the same. And then like people will be like, sometimes I don't say things to people, but I think in this group you can think big and you can say things. But like if I say it to a family member or like a friend, they'll think, how are you going to do that? Or what, and I just don't bother. But this group's so refreshing, especially when because you've done so many different things, and you was a bit of not a bad kid, but we weren't the goodest. I was the same, hung around with the wrong crowd. So do I, but I'd rather make bad decisions than not do anything at all, and then like learn from it really quickly. And I do ask stupid questions. I'm not bothered. I've just trained myself to just not care, because I just want to learn fast. So I'd rather just ask it and then like, be like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So thank you. It was really inspirational, and you've done so much. Like a law degree.
I'm not finished yet. Like, that's the main thing.
I know, but the thing is, I'm thinking, you look young. So like, when did you start doing all this? Because these are long degrees. I've looked into this.
So I was 16 when I started working, say, as my first commercial, but I was 21 when I did my law degree. I was 24 when I started my LPC, and I was 27 when I started I was 29 when I started my master's, but I've got my associate qualification, so I'm internationally qualified now. I'll be APC hopefully by April, and then I need to do 18 months to become a qualified arbitrator.
Wow. That is real dedication. Don't even know half them APCDs, what you said, but it sounds very, 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 very university. Lots of paperwork, which I'm an assistant for.
Thanks, Natasha. I think Catherine wanted to say something as well.
Thank you.
Oh, just more on the personal level, when you mention, your struggles. Like I've got two teenage kids, and I also see, is there any advice that you would give to teenagers?
Any advice? Let your mother off your
bottom. Yeah, so some of the kids I know, they are at the bottom, and how to inspire those teenagers.
How to inspire teenagers? I think for me, like look, I came from a family that had a load of money and this, that, and the other, and everyone thought we were a certain, figure in the town kind of thing, and it made me just kind of want to hang around with people who had nothing and complete opposite. I was kind of like rebelling and stuff. But I think, if you look back, and if somebody had just told me like, it's okay to feel like this, it's okay to kind of feel a bit, your world obviously is changing in terms of, what you know of it. But yeah, I guess, God, everything's going to be okay. You know, it's a bit of a stress.
tough,
You know,
isn't
at the time, I suppose, like, you know, at the time there was, my mother had 6 kids under 10 years old when she went back to do her diploma as an interior designer, you know, and it was kind of, we were like soldiers at home and stuff. But, you know, one thing what my mother always told us and drilled into us was work hard, play hard, travel. And that's
what you did.
exactly what she did with us. And that's exactly what I'm still doing.
Good.
So, you know, I think it's, you know, one thing is to get across for me and why I do the types of the Inspire Ambassador is it's okay not to have it all figured out. You know, I had what I would say is the blueprint for success my whole entire life. My dad has never had a job in his life. He came from a really poor family. They never had anything, but he's, you know, turned it into, I believe I can have whatever I want. And to this day, he does, you know, and he makes money while he sleeps and just does what he wants all day, every day. I sent him a really, really important message yesterday and he sent me back, "What's an acai bowl?" You know, he's just in his own world. Yeah. If you've any, feel free to take my details and reach out to me if there's any other way you think I might be
Oh,
able to.
definitely, I'd like to catch up, just because we kind of
I've taken your details down anyway, and I've got the calendar up on the other screen already, the calculator.
I connected to LinkedIn, so
Thanks, Catherine. Thanks.
thank you.
Yeah, I think it's a really important message, Belinda, because like I say, most people don't know what they want to be when they grow up. Anyway, I'm going through it with my son now who's just turned 15. I'm just saying, oh, well, then you're just doing an engineering degree because at least you've got something, but just don't go to work yet. Just go and basically mess about for a bit. But I think at any age, like I'm 40 years old, I'm still like, oh, in a couple of years, I want to move to London and then I might launch this business. And I don't feel like I've been doing what I do for the last 20 years and I still don't feel like, oh, this is my thing. I mean, my business is actually a successful business. And I'm like, yeah, this isn't what I do.
That's what I'm saying with the arbitration. Yeah. Like, you know, I know I'm not going to work, but it's like, oh, what am I interested in? Like for me, I suppose like my youngest childhood memory is when my mother used to come and say, "We're going to your granny's." And I'd be like, oh my God. I'd be so excited to sit on the left back seat. My brother was always in the front. And I would look, all I wanted to know was there any new houses built on the route? And that's what I'd be waiting out for, you know, and then obviously I had the job that I had never, you know, needed, never wanted, never had a clue. And my dad's like, "Belinda, you're so smart." And I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" He's like, "You know, your brothers had to work for all that. Like, you've just decided to do it and you've done it." I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah." You know, so even though I've never felt like I had a clue what I wanted to do, I've had a great life. I've buzzed through it all. You know, I've got my skills and my qualifications along the way. And I think, you know, it is important not to be like that stressed out and thinking, you know, like I turned 34 2 weeks ago. I do not feel or act any more than I did when I was 24. You know, I don't feel like I'm too old to have kids. I've been single for 7 years. I'd keep it that way for another 7 if I could. You know, as in, I don't do the norms. And what I've done now in the last 2 years, I suppose, since I had the vision for the Belinda Grace group, because I wasn't working per se in a 9 to 5 job since, I don't have weekdays and weekends anymore. I just think every day my alarm goes off at 4:49 to be exact, 7 days a week. And I get up and I think, what can I do today to work towards those goals? What is it? And
I think that's just the best approach to life, Belinda. It always feels like you're breezing through it because other people get so stressed, but the stress by external pressures of what people say you should be doing, how you should be acting, where you should be in your life, you should have kids, you should be married. I've never been married, you should have a house. And it's just not.
I think for me, so because we're growing up in a, you know, Ireland so small, like I grew up in a city but a small town where everyone knew my name and who I was, and like I had to learn quite quickly to block all that out because it was mostly bullshit from people who didn't know me, you know, but it also kind of blocked out all the positive things that people have said about me as well. So it's kind of in my world, anybody's opinion of me is not my business, you know, that kind of a way. So, but even the way like I'd go home and I'd tell friends, "Oh, I want to do this," and then I'd come back and I'd see them a year later and I'd be like, "Oh, I've done this now," and they're like, "How would you always land on your feet?" And I'm like, the blood, sweat and tears it took me to get there. Like, what?
Exactly.
I say something and I just believe I can have it. And I don't take no for an answer since I was, you know, a daddy's girl. So it's like, why should I take no for an answer now? You know, there's plenty of other people doing what I'm trying to do. So yeah, I'm going for it.
100%, 100%. I live my life the same as you, Belinda, and it seems like it's more fun than other people who I see living their life not so happy. And I'm also the same. I don't have weekends, but what that also means is I drink more wine because I don't have this commitment of
I don't drink wine,
suddenly
thank God.
have to go into work. I'm like, it's
Yeah, no,
Tuesday. I'm looking relaxed. I'm
yeah.
the boss after all.
Yeah, no, it is a balance and stuff, you know what I mean? Like, I love my job, like I'm still a consultant. I probably stay going like that for at least another 2 years. I want to learn off more people, you know. I know I'm going to be learning for the rest of my life every day, and you're stupid if you don't think that kind of a thing. But yeah, no, I'm happy out with what I do now. I get to do a bit of everything, so yeah, it's great.
Well, that's amazing. Thanks so much. And thanks for today, Belinda, and for everybody else. I am conscious of time. You know, I like to keep it to the minute. So thanks all for joining us. I hope you've been able to connect with each other in the chat. And if you are not a member of the WhatsApp community already and part of like our email newsletters and stuff, if you just message me on LinkedIn, I'll add you to the WhatsApp group. And if you send me your email address, then we can add you to the newsletter. So it just tells you about upcoming events. We're actually doing a collaboration with a women in security and women in electrical networks, where we're going to be doing a golfing day. Which I'm honest, I'm so turd at golfing as well, so I don't actually know why I've signed up for this. So if anybody, it's basically the saying that there's lots of men still doing business on the golf course, so it'd be good for women to try and get up to speed with it. I'm not lying when I say I go to the driving range with my partner and my 6-year-old son, and my 6-year-old's far better than me. I'm actually a turd. So if any of you are interested in golf or just a fun day out, they said we'll do like 9 holes. Like you have a lesson and pitching and putting, and then people are going to go on and do 9 holes. Or if you know like that's going to be really terrible for you, then we're going to go and have a spa day. So I'm like, I'm going for the spa day, but if you're good at golf, you can go and do 9 holes. So yeah, if you're part of the WhatsApp group or the newsletter community, then we'll be making the announcements of upcoming events and the Christmas party as well. I know lots of you have already tickets for that. I think there's still 8 left. We're having a Christmas party on the 12th of December. So yeah, if you want to come along to that, just let me know and I'll send you the link for the tickets as well. But yeah, fun chat, brilliant. Thanks, Belinda. It was super
Thanks,
inspiring.
everyone. Thanks, Michaela. Have a good day.
Have a nice day, everyone. Toodle pip.